visuals and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Superhero Wednesday, the day of the week where we do all the superhero-y Wednesday stuff. Superhero Wednesday, it's time for another countdown, it's time for another list. This time we're going to take a look at the MCU, but more specifically, the bad boys and girls inside of the MCU, because I know some people might be hit and miss at the MCU at the minute, but I'm still absolutely thoroughly loving it. I'm an easy person to please, to be fair. I am very much a mark of the MCU. I'm still absolutely loving it, but I think the MCU has given us some great versions of already iconic Marvel characters, the Ultrons, the Thanoses, the Killmongers and whatnot. I thought we'd do my top 10 MCU villains, and go back, and you never know, I might mention some of these villains and you think, I might go back and rewatch that said film that they were in, just, you know, for whatever reason. That would be cool if you did. I don't know if you're gonna though, but anyway, it's my 10 favourite MCU villains. Please, as I always want to know yours in the comments below, because you lot are a lot smarter, you'll have more in-depth, complex reasons as to why certain people will be your favourites. And if you don't like any of my lists, please let me know in the comments below. Say, Dan, why did you choose them or them because they were shit, whatever reason. I really, really want to know, but visuals, please let me know. And more importantly, here we go, my 10 favourite MCU villains of all time. Well, so far. This list could change next time I rerun the MCU, but as it stands, my 10 favourite MCU villains. 10 is Whiplash. Now, Whiplash is right, he was great in Iron Man 2. I thought he was really... I know Iron Man 2 is not the greatest of film, but I did really like it. And Whiplash has never been one of my favourite villains, but I really enjoyed Mickey Rourke as Whiplash in this. And I thought Whiplash come with a different intensity that I've kind of felt before in the comics. I don't know if it's because I was, you know, my own imagination with reading it and stuff as opposed to being projected into my mind off the big screen or what, I don't know. But I really enjoyed him in this, especially the way he manipulated the situations. Everyone thought he was building an army and all that kind of shit, or building a suit and whatnot. But yeah, he was controlling everything from the inside and doing his own things and making his own sort of enhancements and all that kind of carry on. I thought he was really great in this. Plus, he said one of my favourite MCU lines ever, and that is, "Where is my bird?" I loved Whiplash. 9 is Ego, the Living Planet. Once again, maybe it's because it's by a legendary actor that we're getting this portrayal of Ego, but it was the weird false sense of security we got. Even somebody that's read about Ego and know who Ego is, I think even I fell a little bit for that he really wanted what was best for Star-Lord, for Peter Quill. I don't know if I fell for that because of how it was being portrayed and whatnot. But yeah, Ego I kind of fell in love with until he revealed his big overall plan and he went all ming. And plus he had a great, fantastic fight with Peter Quill towards the end, especially when Peter Quill's doing his Pac-Man shit and Kurt Russell, Ego, whatever, is doing all his crazy shenanigans. But there was a certain level of love and sort of like, oh wow, you're pretty dope actually, I quite like you, and maybe you're not going to turn out to be a massive prick. And for whatever reason I fell for it and he was a massive prick. But anyway, whether it's just because Kurt Russell's a fantastic actor and I loved it because of that, I really enjoyed this version of Ego, so he made the list. 8 is Hela. Once again, a phenomenal actress behind this role. It could be it could be because of that why I'm buying into this. But as soon as Hela made her face appear, or she made herself known inside of Ragnarok, it was just a game changer. It was amazing, from destroying Mjolnir to sending Loki and Thor away to their own different, obviously Thor going to Sakaar and stuff like that. Or Loki did as well, of course. To all the weird, crazy shenanigans that went down. She was phenomenal. She was obviously... I know Surtur come down and destroyed Asgard and whatnot, and that was the overall, but she felt like the end of everything. She felt like, okay, crap, she is powerful enough and strong enough, and she's delivering on everything to just take out everybody. She made the forces of Asgard look like absolute, just like, I don't know, little kids or some shit. She destroyed everybody. She looked great. She was phenomenal. She felt badass. She felt scary. She felt intimidating. I was completely behind everything. I felt like it was the first time we really saw Thor as not quite strong enough to overcome this hurdle. I felt like, if Thor can't do it, what the fuck's going to happen here? She was super duper believable. She was amazing. I fucking love Hela in the MCU. 7 is the Vulture. Once again, I don't know if it's because of Michael Keaton's portrayal of it. I've always really liked the Vulture. He's always been an amazing Spider-Man villain. But Michael Keaton made it so much better. That scene where he's in the car and he clicks as to who Peter is, and Peter's sort of like this and whatnot, and he gives us that emotional moment for Peter when he's looking in the puddle and you come on, your Spider-Man, get this moment that I love so much, to the final battle like on the beach and all that kind of carry on. He was a great villain, despite being somebody that just flies around a bit in this wingsuit. He's not exactly extremely powerful or over intimidating or whatnot. But the delivery of his lines, the intensity of his lines, how he was perceived in this, he's definitely one of the stronger versions I've seen of Vulture. Yes, okay, we've seen him in his regular normal green suit, actually flying around and being bold and all that kind of shenanigans. But this is one of the more intimidating, badass Vultures I've ever seen. Maybe alongside the one from the video game, maybe possibly. But yeah, Michael Keaton's Vulture was just absolutely beautiful. 6 is Gore. Now, I know Gore's been a bit hit and miss, as in Thor Love and Thunder was hit and miss with a lot of people anyway. I personally really fucking enjoyed it. And I know Gore was maybe a little bit toned down as to what we're used to in the comics, but Christian Bale's portrayal of him was still fantastic. Once again, it's another great actor doing it, who's making it feel a bit better and whatnot. But the scariness and the intensity, even the moments where a few people took the piss out of him being weird and silly and goofy with the kids that he's took from New Asgard, being like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is Gore the God Butcher. I was into it because when someone's so psychotic and crazy and evil, well, he wasn't necessarily evil. He's quite complex in the film anyway. Does silly, goofy shit. I get more scared. It's like, oh my God, he's being this weird, like, sort of unhinged character. I just completely fell for him being menacing. Plus, he was driven by a story that actually had weight behind it, you know, because, you know, God had basically failed him and let him down and all that kind of stuff. He'd lost his daughter and all that. I really enjoyed Gore from this. I went into it. It definitely was a little bit underwhelming. That's why he's not as further up as the list. The one that we had in say a recent comic book run. The last real time I read him was like 5, 6, maybe even 7 years ago. A good while ago, anyway. It was definitely a lot more scary and more intense, but I still believed it in this. I still felt it. The way the gods were all terrified, you know, Russell Crowe, Zeus, he was like, hey, we're not really messing with Gore, you can, you know, fuck that. And the way Thor went up to the black and white fight and all that kind of thing, it was all fucking awesome. I loved Gore in the MCU. Evolutionary, the one villain that I was the most happiest about seeing defeated. Oh my God, I was beyond. Anyone's seen my Guardians reviews or my Guardians takes, and all, like, you know, and your long-term viewers of the channel, you know how I felt and how I cheered and how I celebrated watching the High Evolutionary eventually and finally being taken down. Absolutely over the moon. But as a villain on his own, he was so good. He was so evil and horrible and corrupt. Well, not corrupt, but like he wanted to just constantly control everything. And you felt like the moment where Rocket exposed him and Rocket works out the equation and shit. And you could see like the insecurity and the anger building up inside and how evil and vindictive he was. He was portrayed, again, I can't even pronounce the actor's name because I always get it fucking wrong. But he's so fucking good. The way he was portraying him was just so out of this world. Like I said, you felt like true evil incarnate, and the way that he looked all dysmorphed and all that kind of stuff. Eventually, when Rocket scratches off his face and stuff, absolutely great. And like I said, when he got his comeuppance, it was beautiful. I was so fucking happy. It's like Newcastle just scored a winner in the Champions League final. I was like, oh my fucking God, he's Gideon, son. He was a beautiful villain, but like for the wrong reasons, but portrayed beautifully. I got behind the story so much. Killmonger, sorry to keep repeating myself, and we're at number 4 already. Once again, portrayed by a phenomenal actor, portrayed by a phenomenal actor, but a villain that, again, you kind of got behind and he felt justified in what he was doing. He felt abandoned, he felt alone, he felt neglected and left out. It felt like what he was doing, there was a true cause to do it. Even the moment towards the end with Black Panther, King T'Challa had beaten him, and they had that moment, sort of sat there watching the sunrise in Wakanda and stuff. Or was it sunset, whichever one it was. Which was quite emotional. Like I said, it wasn't a villain that just come along and say, like, I'm being bad for the sake of being bad. It's like, no, he come with intent. He come with purpose. He come with reasons as to do it. And again, the way Michael B. Jordan was portraying it all, the the deceptiveness, the way that he turned on Ulysses' claw and all that kind of carry on, the actual the weight that he brought with all of his lines and his delivery and the intensity and everything was just there, and it was beautiful. It was phenomenal. The museum bit just being so good. The moment where he's eventually in there, he's speaking to everybody in the council and that, and he's like looking at everybody. They've got him under arrest and this and that and whatnot. The way that he eventually beats T'Challa, doesn't he, to become the current king of Wakanda and stuff. Absolutely fucking awesome. 3 is Mysterio. Now, from a guy that's not doing anything apart from making holograms, it's like, well, that's a bit dumb. But the way he misled everybody, Nick Fury, yes, I know Nick Fury wasn't Nick Fury, but the way that he misled everybody and misled Peter, that moment when he eventually hands over the glasses and then Peter leaves and he goes, and everybody sort of celebrates. I was like, because again, I went into that film being like, right, Mysterio, can't trust him for trickery and all that kind of shit. But as the film's going on, I'm thinking, maybe this is a different, newer, more improved Mysterio. I really believed every single little bit of it, and I was like, oh my God, you've pulled the wool over my eyes. And I went into this knowing you're a little bastard, but yet somehow you changed my... What the fuck is going on? It was just so good. Again, sorry, I'm repeating myself. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, outstanding. But not only that, he was so amazing because of how he flipped the script. Yes, he was defeated by Peter Spider-Man at the end. Well, Peter, whatever you want to call. But the way that he still come up with a slight win by fucking over Peter Parker and Spider-Man by saying, you know, Spider-Man's identity, blah, blah, it's Peter Parker, and the way that he set up the tone and what was going to happen in the next sort of bit of Peter Parker's life was just so great. He left his mark on there after being defeated. He was phenomenal. Like I said, the way that it was all laying out, the way he was deceiving everybody, trying to make out like he was this big hero taking on the Hydra Man and all that kind of stuff, was just out of this world. I absolutely loved it. And like I said, I went into it going, I know you're a big evil bastard. I'm not going to fall for this. So I'm going to say, maybe you're good. I'm going to say, maybe you are good. Maybe you are from a different universe and you are good. You just tricked me, haven't you? Of all these years of reading comic books and knowing exactly how, you've just literally fucking tricked me. I fucking fell for it. And I don't know how. He was awesome. Josh Brolin, Thanos. Of course it's Josh Brolin, Thanos. Thanos has been one of the biggest and best villains, not just comic book villains, not just MCU, not just villains, you know, recently, but of cinema history. He was outstanding. The slow burn, the slow build. In wrestling terms, the booking of how they fully, you know, how they showed Thanos and how they slowly drip fed, you know, with different stones, interacting with the Guardians and whatnot, interacting with Avengers and you know, Loki, you know, and the way to eventually finally get him in Infinity War Endgame shit. Absolutely amazing. Sorry, repeat myself, I don't mean it, but Josh Brolin performed it phenomenally. Thanos felt like the ultimate cinema villain, the biggest villain we'd had in cinema in so fucking long. He was absolutely amazing. The threat of watching him single-handedly. We left Infinity War seeing the good guys lose, which is something we're not really that used to. We saw Black Panther being faded out, the Guardian, well, most of the Guardians, Spider-Man, the Winter Soldier, so many heroes being phased out, and the hero stood there, and with the last final shot was us with the good guys distraught, not dismembered, but dismantled and beaten and in all dire depths, and the bad guy being like, I win, and like, what the fuck? Oh my God, it was genuinely history in cinema. What is Ultron? I fucking love me some Ultron shenanigans. Ultron is fucking awesome. Right, okay, I know there's some stuff you can maybe pick at in the Age of Ultron film. I know it's not perfect to some people, but there's something about Ultron, once again, the way he's portrayed, the voice in that is so amazing. The way he first reveals himself to the Avengers and stuff, to the way that he keeps on evolving and growing and growing and growing and growing. He's just so intimidating. It's so scary. I don't know if it's to do with it as well, the fact that it being AI and AI potentially being on the horizon of being legit and fucking everything up. I don't know. But there was something about the way this version of Ultron that was just out of this world. It was so good. I loved Ultron. Even to the point, right, where I was getting the Lego sets and stuff, and they're some of my favourite Marvel Lego sets, especially from the MCU that we've got because of the Ultron inclusion. I love anything to do with Ultron, and the way that we got like the Ultron shenanigans inside of the What If show. Absolutely awesome. Ultron is my favourite MCU villain as it stands. Now, visuals, my favourite MCU villains, my top 10. Let me know yours in the comments below, please. I would love to fucking hear your thoughts and opinions. But yeah, that's mine. Done, dusted. list might change in a few weeks' time or a few years' time when we've got more villains coming down the line, especially when we see what's going to happen. Deadpool, Wolverine, the next Spider-Man films. I was going to include Kingpin. Right, so there's a couple of things I should quickly clear. I should have started this at the start of the video. But anyway, I was going to include Kingpin, but I just feel like his inclusion has been too recent, even though he's been outstanding so far. But I thought, no, let's get this Spider-Man stuff out of the way, because we know that he's going to have a huge involvement in the next, like, Daredevil, Spider-Man shenanigans, and then we'll weigh it in, because he's definitely going to be on the list at some point. And I took, Loki was originally in it, because I know he started off villainy and whatnot, but I took him out because of the way that he kind of currently ended his, you know, story. Whether we go back and revisit him, I don't know what we're going to do. But I just thought, no, this is not put on a villain list, as he's just ended as one of the biggest heroes. Let's keep him off the villain list. But yeah, Kingpin will definitely insert in this. But at the minute, I'm just giving people that had been in the MCU a lot longer than him a bit more time to filter and whatnot. So yeah, Kingpin will be on the list at some point. Next visuals. There we go. Please let me know your list in the comments below. Let me know, let me know what you think of my list. And more importantly, thank you so much for watching. You guys are literally the fucking best. Always keep being you. Keep on keeping on.